What is going on, party people? What is going on? We're back with another Soul Show. Yes, if you haven't heard by now, this is the Soul Show. I am your brother Rome. We represent hip hop culture here. It's all about our city, our story, and our sound. But it's actually more than that because part of our story in this introduction of hip hop music is being inspired by the legends, the greats, the best to ever do it. You know, those are the people that have given us the inspiration to do our thing out here as well. And when we're talking about this guy that I'm going to have on right now, this legend, this icon, uh, I mean, the history speaks for itself. We're talking Mr. Harlem World, Mr. Wild Style. I mean, the list goes on. One of the very first MCs to do his thing, to represent that battle culture. Shout out to all my battle MCs out there. You know, like he had his hands in everything. Anything hip hop, the man was involved from the very beginning. I cannot be talking about any other person than the one and only, my brother, Chief Rocker, Busy B. Let's go. What's good?
Oh man, what's happening with you, man? How you feel, man?
Doing good, man. I mean, it's a honor and a privilege to have you on, brother. I mean,
That's awesome. That's awesome, man. I mean, I know you down in Florida doing your thing. I hear about it all the time. You know, I
right.
just can't get down there now because this pandemic got everything all mashed up and messed up. But it's all good. But when I get a chance, I'm coming down, Rome, man. We're gonna get it in, man. But I appreciate when they said, "Hey, man, Rome want to shout," I said, "Oh man, let's get it in." So
Yeah, bro. I mean, because I mean, you know, not only being in hip hop for so long, you understand as a fellow hip hopper. I mean, you can't just be the one doing it always. You're also a fan of it. You
right,
also
yeah,
like
right,
to hear, you also
right,
like to hear the stories
right,
and the backstories behind it
right.
because it you I know as a hip hopper myself, like I can only imagine it and assume stuff, but you know, talking to someone like you, you'll connect all the dots the way they supposed to be.
I go to the b-boy joints. I go to the b-boy anthems. I go to
Yeah,
the graffiti artist things. I participate in the DJ contests. So yeah, I participate in all five elements. I watch the beatboxers when they get a chance to get on stage. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, I'm just saluting the culture, man. That's what it is. A lot of us other guys became recording artists. So
yeah,
now they don't have the time no more that they had before to put their interest in back into the culture of hip hop. That's why
yeah,
I never wanted to sign no contract. When I found out that after I signed this contract, I won't be able to go to my fellow hip hoppers and do this and tell them what I'm doing because I got to do this. Then that's not hip hop to me.
talk
So,
about it,
you
brother.
know, I had to stay hip hop and whatever flowers I get off of that, I'll accept. And other than that, I just can't because being a recording artist is awesome. You get paid, you get good records, you get to travel and all that. But a hip hop icon and a pioneer such as myself, I still do the same thing. But the difference is when if you gave an event, I could go. If I was under a contract and it's permitted for me not to go and I got to be there when I can still make that and get there. They won't let me go that. And they'll say, and now that's when it's they. It's
Right.
not they. I am hip hop. So I can go where I want to. And that's how I treat it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I mean, already we 5 minutes in this interview, you already dropping bombs on the city. Talk about it. But for my people that may not know your background, your origin, where you come from,
I'm
can
the
you?
first. I am the world's first solo MC of hip hop. I am the backbone of the microphone from the Boogie Down Bronx. There was no Curtis Blows. There was no LL Cool J's. There was no Jay Z's. There was no DMX's. There was none of that. There was only Busy B, the pretty motherfucker y'all see right now. Sorry. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yes.
just me out here with Flash and the three MCs and with Breakout and the three MCs and everybody just start forming. I never had a brother or a homeboy and say, "Come on, me and you gonna do this, and you be that name, I'll be that name." So but I had a good voice, I had a good personality, and people loved it. To this day, I rocked with that, and that's what carried me through. You know what I mean?
We'll talk about that. What kind of pressure was that growing up during a time where, to your point, you had all these these groups of people. Everybody had a kind of, and
They couldn't talk like me. They couldn't sound like me. I was too motherfucking good. My voice was the shit. When I got on the mic, motherfuckers said, "Oh shit!" They paid attention, even if they didn't even know who I was. They paid attention because they wanted to know who I was because of the voice. The voice is what really got them. It wasn't me. At that time, I wasn't as pretty as I am right now. You know what I mean? So, but it was my voice that was awesome, and it carried through, and people understood it, and I knew how to vibe with music. That was like a gift. Nobody taught me how to do it. Nobody gave me the courage to do it. None of that type of shit. I just was. I'm actually was just fitted to get on the mic and rock a party or make people smile and have fun during the segment. That's just something I was good at.
Well, we'll talk about that. I know it's a long time ago, but talk about what was that first moment? What gave you the courage to do what you're describing?
The people. I saw so many people there, and I know if I could have said what I said and say it right, they would love it. And sure enough, man, I said what I had to say right, and they was vibing with it, and everybody wanted to know who I was, and the DJ that knew who I was wanted to keep me around so I can make him sound good and make myself sound good and look good, and we kept it going. Everybody got to remember, this thing didn't started as the MC. It was all about the DJ. I was the guy to make the DJ sound and look good because I would say some fly shit to make my DJ good. But then, the voices took over to the what I would call it, the commercial company or the what would you call it? Oh man. Not commercialized, but those big corporations, right? The corporations stepped in and took people out. And also, again, they made them a lot of money. They paid them well, paid them handsomely. And I have nothing against that. But then don't say that you part of hip hop and you can't, because you can't come back and do your stuff. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm talking about. Where's the artists? A lot of artists came from our culture, went and signed contracts and became recording artists. They come from hip hop. They still hip hop, but they no longer hip hop. And when I say it like that, because they can't do what we do in hip hop anymore because they under a contract. Until you finish that contract, you can't do certain things, and you can't. I know you can't, and because I've done it too. I've been under a contract, and when I got out, I was out.
Right. What DJ were you talking about? For people that may not know, what was the DJ that you first worked with?
Oh, Africa Islam. From Africa Islam, I went to Disco King Mario. From Mario, I met Mean Gene and Theodore, and that's how I became real cool with Theodore and Mean Gene, the Grand Wizard himself. And then after Mean Gene, I met the cool DJ AJ. And when I met AJ is when it started realizing. I started realizing real money, and we could get paid for this as well. And that's when it started blowing up.
So Africa Islam, Zulu Nation, shout out to the Zulu Nation. And was the beginnings, the very beginnings, house parties, block parties?
No, most of them was in gyms. We go to gyms and get the custodian about $50 as long as he had his wine or beer money, and we cleaned up after ourselves. He didn't give a fuck, you know what I'm saying? So we'll find the custodians in some of these gyms and give them a couple of dollars and have the gym open at 10 o'clock at night to about 2 o'clock in the morning. We clean up, and nobody knew nothing the next day in them schools.
Right. And I want you to explore that for a minute, because when we're talking about that time period, a lot of people they try to say hip hop is violent and this and that.
Hell no.
Back then, hip hop brought people together.
Right. Hip hop brought all the guys that would beat your ass and rob your shit up. Brought you to listen to the music. They got happy and see the girls, and they wasn't even thinking about none of that shit no more. They wanted to come to us and shout them out and let them watch it, and we can watch them do their little break dancing and have their fun with the girls. And that it ceased. And they was like more, I will protect to make sure we were safe more than starting anything. They made sure we were safe.
Right. And And I just want to kind of give the kids, the people that may not be, have that age on them to know, because for a lot of the kids, they don't understand the history of where this came from, and it was a bunch of poor kids, poor communities coming together
The
to
Puerto Ricans and
right,
the brothers. We come
right,
from the Bronx, where it was nothing but Puerto Ricans. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the culture of hip hop come from the Boogie Down Bronx. That's the home.
right.
Started with the Puerto Ricans and the brothers. The Puerto
Talk
Ricans
about
is responsible for most of the break dancing, graffiti writing, and some of the music.
it.
They
Right.
are mostly responsible for that. The
Yeah.
brothers responsible for half of the protection, DJing, and also breakdancing with the Puerto Ricans. The
Right.
Puerto Ricans have more power into our culture than any other besides the brothers. So there
Did
you have
you,
it. Hip
did
hop
you
comes
hear that,
from
Orlando?
Puerto Ricos and brothers. So Puerto Rico, oh,
Let's
Puerto
go,
Rico,
Boricua. Did you
oh.
hear that? He just gave the entire island, the entire culture, their flowers that they most generously deserve.
That's
That's
right.
what I'm talking about, bro.
The
So
Puerto Rico, oh,
let's
black
go.
people, oh.
Let's go. So, give an idea of for those that don't know much about the Bronx. What
Well, the
part
Bronx
of
is
the
the home.
Bronx?
The Bronx is the Mecca. It don't
Right.
matter.
But
The
what
Bronx is
part
the
of
Mecca.
the Bronx were you
You
guys doing your work in?
say the South Bronx. South
South
Bronx.
Bronx. Let's go.
The South Bronx is where it all started. The Boogie Down Bronx, the Boogie Down Productions, of all of that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, and that the Boogie Down Productions came when the Boogie Down Bronx was already in form. We just
Right.
had when KRS-One added that production to it, it just solidified the Boogie Down Bronx.
Right. Right. And so, what was first circulated when it started coming to your brand of MCing? Was it the tape first circulating, or did you immediately go to record and them start pressing out some records for you?
Well, Sugar Hill just came out with a record. So when they did that, everybody tried to follow suit because it worked for them. So everybody tried to follow suit. But it was more of the cassette tapes that was flowing. We had no CDs at this time. So
Right,
it was more like the cassette tape. And
right,
then when you get a chance to see us at a party, it made it all special. But
right,
we had no CDs and we had nothing else. So the cassette tape, but when Sugar Hill Gang came out with a song on wax, that's when it changed because everybody figured we had to do that.
right. Okay, and then so you got these tapes circulating. Your footprint is in the Bronx. You're seeing some of the up and comers, the Melly Mel's, the Curtis Blows. Um, is this becoming an exciting moment in your career that there's people kind of doing what you're talking about, going on their own and creating sort of this competition now?
But it wasn't a competition. They just was going. I didn't, again, I didn't picture it and then take it as they was leaving their groups to be me
Right,
until later on. And
right,
then when I figured it out and thought about it, it didn't matter because they still couldn't do me anyway. But
right,
then
right,
I
right,
figured, I figured it out. See,
right,
I made my shit look so easy that it's an art. You got to be able to really do this shit, or
right. Now talk about how that transformation, because for all the people out there that are from New York or don't know about New York, um, Harlem is uptown. How did you start going into the Harlem scene? Talk about that.
well, a lot of my friends was in Harlem. I was hustling in Harlem, and AJ again, he went to school in Harlem,
Right.
so it was easy for us to just commute to Harlem because certain people from Harlem was doing the same thing. They had the Disco Four, they had Mastodon and the Def Committee, they had
Right.
the Crash Crew, so they had people in Harlem doing stuff, and they heard of us. They heard of
Right.
me throughout the tapes and stuff, and they knew of AJ. So, when I came over, they was happy because they knew it all started in the Bronx, and here go a Bronx guy coming in their sound and welcoming them to our culture with no problem and respect. and they liked it, and then we all became buddies like that.
Right. Now,
Plus,
talk.
again, at the end of the day, to keep it 100, I just was the shit. I was the shit on that mic. There's no trying to twist the shit up. I'm the shit. I'm the shit on that mic, man. They can't fuck with Busy B, man. And they'll tell you that motherfucking Busy B bad, motherfucker.
Talk about it, brother.
Busy B bad, motherfucker, man.
Talk about it, brother. Now, for those who weren't old enough to either get in or ever see that place other than hear about its legend, talk about Harlem World.
Oh, Harlem World was like the Mecca at one time. It's just like it took over for us as hip hoppers from the Disco Fever to the Harlem World.
Right.
And Harlem World was like the Mecca for everybody, because that's where we brought out the Force MDs. That's where you get to see your Stetsasonics and stuff like that. It started coming out, and we started bringing them into Harlem, and they would start rocking because that was another place where we can shine, get our shit off, and be us in hip hop.
Right. So, okay, let me get the time periods right. So the Fever, Disco Fever, was before Harlem.
Right.
Okay, so talk about let's pull it back now. Let's go to the Fever. Talk about the legendary Fever and all of the amazing things.
He went to the store. He'll be right back. He'll be right back. He just went to the store. All right. I'm doing an interview.
Talk about all the amazing times during that Disco Fever era. I mean, a lot of stuff came out of that era, and I don't want to skip that.
Well, when you say a lot of stuff, only stuff came out of Fever that was worth is that's still rocking hip hop is Melly Mel, Curtis Blow, and that's about it. We was going into Fever because that was like a headquarters for us in the Bronx. That was another headquarters for us early on, where we can have somewhere to go and be all right and explore our creativity and be us and get recognized as artists and be treated like artists at that time.
Right. Now, when you're saying the chilling out with Melly Mel, was this Melly Mel, Message Melly Mel, or was
Message Melly Mel, Grandmaster Flash, and the Furious?
No. I mean, like, did he already have that out?
Yeah. Yeah.
Gotcha. Because that record changed a lot of people's minds about hip hop and just totally brought
the DNA. That song got the DNA of everybody, all thugs around the world.
Right.
The DNA of Melly Mel is in them.
Right. Talk about it, brother. Now, was he Melly the kind of guy that was as sharp, to your point, like your personality? Was
That's
he
the king? Melly Mel the king.
Right.
Bottom line. There's nothing I can do or say. Melly Mel is the king.
Right.
I'm just glad to be one of his best friends.
I heard that, my brother, because I mean the arrogance, but yet the deliberateness on that message.
That's the king, man.
He never had to drop another record after that. It just sounded so like to your king.
There you have it. There you have it, right there.
And then so let's go back to Harlem World, because that was such a legendary place, similar to Roxy, right?
Right.
It's folklore for a lot of people.
Right.
Talk about how that place, because it looked huge.
It was huge.
Yeah, talk about how that whole place. What was the idea behind that? Did it start out a hip hop club, or did it eventually?
No, it was for the gangsters and all the thugs, all the hustlers in Harlem. That was a place where they could go get entertained, see fights. They have the fights on the big screen TVs, and when the Marvelous Hagglers, the Sugar Ray Leonards and that era type stuff. You know what I mean? We could go there and do that. But when we go there, the parties would be so magnificent. The people would be able to gather around and party and enjoy themselves without no problems. That's what made it big. And when the night we brought Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five to Harlem World for the first time ever, it was magnificent. It was one of those nights you'd never forget. The stars was out, the club. Oh man, it was awesome.
Wow.
Queens, Staten Island, they was all there. The train station right there, so you could take the train, get off, be right there in front of the door. I mean, the transportation was easy to do. It was awesome.
Wow, man. Wow. Talk about the level of respect that you felt in the city during that time, and how you felt like, I mean, because when you think about, let's say, for example, I'm just throw this in here. Let's just say, for example, what NWA was for Compton. Like, Compton held these guys up because they repped their city hard. What was that like for you, being that person for the Bronx and being that person for Harlem? I mean, and your legend just started growing for there, but just talk about how that was and how you were able to kind of navigate through that.
By being who I was, I never paid no attention to be anything else. So that's how I won the character, because I stayed being me from the beginning. I'm
Right.
still me today, and that's what they accepted. I
Right.
never changed for nothing. I was the same, whether it was big or small. I was the same.
That's completely awesome. That's the best answer anyone can give right there, brother. You got to be you. Now talk about the legendary battles that went on during that time, and
But
how
for
did
me and
that come
Kumo
about?
D, it wasn't a battle. Again, I'll say it for the this is the last time I'm saying it wasn't a battle. It was an MC convention.
Oh, a
And
convention. Talk about
yeah,
that. Like,
so
because there's
that's
a
what it
lot of
was.
people that
Every
don't
6
know
months,
about
me and AJ will give a convention where all the MCs get together, hang out, have a night, have a couple of drinks, get to know each other, and talk some stuff, and give out awards. And that's what it was. And Kumo D happened to want to just interrupt that at the ending, tell everybody that he was leaving his group to be a solo, and then he wanted to talk about me. And he said all the funny things about me. And then after he said that, I found out about it. Then I told him we got a battle. The first time, that wasn't a battle. It was a
that.
sabotage. It was a disrespectful to make him look good, which it did for that time of being, and it made him who he is today. Take that away, you had never ever heard of Kumo D.
Now, a great example, because you just said a lot in that statement. Is this the first
Yep.
introduction to the battle at
Yes.
that point?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Do you hear that, Orlando? He is describing.
We are the first. I am the first battle rapper with Kumo D. Yes, we are the first. It wasn't no battles. It wasn't even talking about battles and rapping until Mo D did what he did to me.
Right. And okay, so you weren't there, is what you're saying.
Right. I was there, but not on the stage or in the area. Because Harlem World, like I said, Harlem World was so big. I was downstairs in the downstairs part where you can go and parties too and have a DJ and listen to music. So you would never hear what's going on upstairs. So
Right.
that's where I was at. People had to find me to tell me what happened upstairs. By the time I got up there, it was over. But my friend Randy, who was the DJ, said, B, don't worry about it. I'll let you hear it after a little later on. And I heard it then. That's when I called them out. Like, come on, you got it. I ain't no fucking way. And that's when the battle started.
I mean, this is so amazing. I mean, I know the story, but I'm listening. I mean, I can't imagine for people that haven't looked at their history like that, don't
Right.
realize the level or the gravity of what you're saying. Like
Right.
before that, it was like, I'm doing me. I'm
Right.
not worried about y'all. And then all of a sudden, this moment in hip hop history happens, and it was
Right.
like, what? And okay,
Right.
so describe how. I mean, describe how you felt. Like, what was your strategy? What was your plan to come after Kumo?
It wasn't no plan. Just bring your black ass to the people and get on stage and play your shit. There ain't no gravity, ain't no get your black ass on stage and pop that shit you was popping in Harlem World right now, motherfucker. That's ain't
Oh my
no
god!
that shit. What the fuck you mean?
That's so amazing, man. Now, is this Kumo D
That's Kumo D, motherfucker.
after
Kumo D.
Beat Street? Kumo D, Treacherous Street. So
Yeah, that's that same motherfucker. Him.
right. But I'm saying, did it happen after that? And he decided, okay, well, I'm going solo at this point. To your point,
Yeah, he would.
Okay.
Yeah, because he couldn't do nothing else. The Treacherous 3 was over. Feel the
Right.
heartbeat, feel the heart street. Get the fuck out of here. You can't fuck with me. They out.
Right.
He had to
Right.
go
Right.
solo. He had to go solo, and he did pretty good. And he wouldn't have did shit had he not said, "Yo, Busy B, put the bar bullshit." And that was some funny shit to some other black folks, and it made it funny. And the tapes just went all around the world. And because I still was the greatest of them all as the MC, people wanted to know who was that was talking about him. Who was Kool Moe Dee? Nobody knew, but what he said, it was perfect to the beat. It was funny because he was talking about me, and that was that.
Gotcha. Okay, so now we're gonna have to walk through the battle moment, the actual moment where you guys clash. Talk us through that. How did this happen?
But again, I just told you, it's nothing to talk about. He
Right.
did what he had to do on stage, which didn't get over. And when
Right.
I did my shit, I did what I shit. And who wins this battle? Busy B. Take your black ass on where the fuck you going and do you. And that was that. There was no more animosity behind it, no disrespect behind it, no fighting behind it, nothing. He was a man, I was a man. You did, you got over, and it just helped him. It didn't do nothing to me. It helped him big time because
Right.
people didn't know who he was, to now they know who he is because of what he said to about Busy B. Then he tried it with LL. Then he tried it with various people to keep his name afloat.
Right. Right. And that's crazy that you mentioned LL because, and then in the context of what you're describing, because yeah, that sounds like someone battling for recognition.
Respect and trying to get in the game.
Right.
You
Wow.
was a bum then, and you was a bum now. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I am the shit. I'm still the shit. I look even prettier than I did then. You hiding somewhere, you motherfucking bear. Find your ass and come on out here. Find your man Busy B and do what the fuck you want to do. I said it.
Oh my God, man, that is so hilarious.
I gotta go though, man. Really, word up. I got things they looking at me, yo, bitch, what the fuck? But I forgot I had to do you wrong. I just wanted to come shout you out and fuck with you, word up. You know what I'm saying?
So you got to go right now.
Yeah, they looking at me crazy. Yo, B. I'm like, oh man. So, but I said I had to talk to you wrong. I said, yo, I had to come fuck with you, B. It didn't matter. You know what I mean? But we
Hey,
can set up another time. I can call in and get in with you with no problem, and we can go in because I'm not home. As you see, I'm in the car. I got to run. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But I'll sit down with you and we can chop it up. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir, man. Hey, bro, I appreciate you,
Hey,
man.
get me out there in Orlando, man, and we can do some magic.
Yeah, bro. You come holler at your boy, brother.
Yeah, let's make some magic, man. Hit me up anytime, all right?
You got it, brother.
Hey,
Man,
to all the party people out there, y'all looking for Busy B, I'm on the Instagram all day, Busy B, the original. Facebook, the Chief Rocker, Busy B. And you can or just say, Rome, I need Busy B, and it's on and popping. Y'all be easy. I'm smoking good in the neighborhood.
yes, sir. Busy B, Chief Rocker, Busy B joins the Soul Show. Let's go. Yes, man, dude. I mean, he is just a pit of knowledge in hip hop history, man. Talking to him is just completely amazing. I'm so happy I was able to get him on the show today. Like most icons, they're just very busy and got things to do. Shout out to everybody on the check-in who showed up for the show. Shout out to my man Work. Shout out to my man Jesse Jazz. Shout out to my man Rick. What's up? Shout out to my man Quest. Good looking, homie. What's good? Shout out to my Andrew St. Marie. Shout out to everybody. Yeah, here we're back. Sorry about that. Yes, shout out to everybody that was on the check-in, man. Thank you for showing up tonight. You know how the Soul Show gets down. We are talking hip-hop culture. This is the place to be for that, man. Yo, have a blessed evening. Please remember, we will be back on tomorrow with another fabulous guest. Sound of Orlando show, baby. You know how we do it. Let's go!